evening, everyone. It's been quite a while since I've actually done a yin yoga sequence, so I am busting to get into my own shoulders and chest and open up the heart a little bit. I just did a beautiful yang back bending flow, which was exactly what I needed. And of course, the space of our heart, to open our heart, gives us more space. It allows us to be a little bit more vulnerable, and it opens us up to a little bit more energy. If we are closing our hearts off due to fear or stress or anxiety, which can be quite relevant in these times at the moment, what's actually happening is we're creating blockages in our heart space, and blockages mean that energy doesn't flow through as well, which means that we're going to feel super tired and exhausted and stagnant, and we're going to become very rigid, not just in the physical body, but also in the mind. So in all of that, this is a practice to help open up this space, because we can also get very, very stuck in our devices, on computer screens, any media or TV we watch as well, that can have us kind of feeling that fear, even though it's not necessarily something that we all talk about, but it goes into our subconscious and we do take it on board as to what's going on around us. So I just want you to remember in this practice, and also stepping away from this practice, that whatever is going on around us is going to go on no matter what, but none of that has anything to do with us. We don't have to make it personal. Michael Singer talks about in The Untethered Soul about allowing things to pass through us. So you imagine if you were driving outside and you're on your way somewhere and you drive past trees and cars and traffic lights and even people, but you don't notice them. You see it there, but you don't take it in. It goes through you. You don't remember what a certain tree looked like or the colours of the cars in your way. You notice them because you were very conscious, because you were driving, but you didn't actually cling to them or resist them. So when things happen in our life, significant things, things that we feel good about or things that we don't feel so good about, we cling or we resist. And that is where we start to create these blockages. We make it personal. So read his book for furthermore. I'll get stuck into his yin class, but it's really important to understand the things that we are attaching to. Is it taking up space that is unnecessary? And are we possibly able to open our hearts a little bit more and let the small things go? What do they say? Don't sweat the small stuff. So let's start off in one of my most favorite positions here. We're going to bring the bolster, you can use a cushion or a pillow, across the back of the back of the shoulder blades. And we're actually going to let the arms go out to a Y shape. And it's really important that you rest your head on something. I'm going to let my head fall down to the floor. You might want to rest your head onto a block or a pillow or something like that as well. You okay? And just, we want to actually start to now open that space up into the heart. And for a little bit of more bang for your buck, you might want to bring the soles of your feet together and let the knees flop open to the side, and that's going to create a bit of space. You don't have to do the variation with your legs, but I love this variation. It allows the hips to open up, and of course the hips is the space of the sacral chakra, which can be our emotional center. So a lot of energy can get held there, and we can feel tight, blocked up, sore and aggravated lower backs, poor digestive system, bloating, all that kind of stuff. Stress all gets held in that area. So feel free to allow that to release a little bit with the soles of the feet together and the knees apart. And all we're going to do here is try and relax the shoulders, relax the neck, and just breathe. That's all you need to do. Never ever a place of pain. We're not after that. Should feel slightly uncomfortable in some shapes, but not in this one. Always modify as much as you need. If the bolster or cushion doesn't work for you, take it out. Just lie on the ground. And then try to let everything be heavy. Really nice shape. Just now let go of your day. Maybe with a little bit of awareness, notice if there's things in your day that you're clinging to or resisting. Maybe there was a certain moment in your day where you keep going back on it and wish you'd said something else or gone about it a different way. That stuff doesn't matter anymore. It's completely irrelevant. What's done is done. So give yourself permission to forgive yourself with a kind heart. And then choose something that feels a little bit better. Bring your awareness to your breath now as you breathe in. Notice the rise of your chest. The ribcage will spread. Notice the height of the chest. And as you breathe out, feel yourself soften. Try to relax the shoulders, the jaw, the face. I'm going to do 10 more breaths here. Sometimes just being still can be one of the hardest things to do in yin yoga. We're in a culture that we are so good at going fast. We're so used to being busy and not stopping and pausing or putting ourselves first that it can feel really odd. So don't beat ourselves up if this feels really weird, if you're here and feel agitated or want to move on. Just try to come back to this sense of being. And all that is a presence, it's just being here right now. And every time you find yourself drifting, a beautiful way to come back to being here is just coming back to your inhale and your exhale. 3 more breaths. And take a breath in and a breath out. Bending at the elbows, bring your hands to the back of your head and slowly as possible start to lift up your head. Support it for a moment as you engage the muscles of the upper traps, even the SCM, the sternocleidomastoid of the neck, and very, very, very slowly just bring your knees and your head to one side. And we're going to just roll into a fetal position here for our rebound. And just take 5 breaths here. Be really still. Breathe in, and breathe out. We're quite simply just going to come all the way over onto our bellies, and we're going to come into a broken wing or a scorpion twist pose, if you can call it. So what is going to happen, not all of us have got a bolster and a block, so I'm going to do this without it. Just because I know we don't all have props at home. So we're going to bring the right arm out to the side. I like to extend my arm out fully. Some people like to bend their elbow, but I'm going to extend it fully and then use my left fingertips to slowly peel my left chest off and start to bring that left foot up and over into our scorpion twist or broken wing. If you would like and if you need, you can support your floating foot on a cushion or a block or a bolster. And this is going to start to open the right pectorals, the front of the delt on the right. You'll also, if you're sort of softening through that middle back area, you're going to get that through your thoracic, the middle part of your spine, and even a little bit into the lumbar. And then just try to soften here. Now, some of you may like to lift up that left arm and come into half a bind. Be very mindful of that right shoulder and chest. We are not going to a place of pain. And if you've opened that left shoulder, of course, you're going to get into the left, get in front of the delt. You're going to open up the front of the bicep as well, a little bit here as well. But we need to back it off. You back it off in a Yin yoga practice. We just go to the first point of sensation. So that's 60%. We never push past that. We're always looking to find our edge. And that possibly will always change. Because as we explore the shapes, the fascia and the connective tissue that lie underneath the muscle, they actually start to get the message to loosen their grip. They start to let go. So not only do we get a beautiful practice of the mind space, it's called Chittakash, we also start to create our chi or ki in the body flow. What I mentioned before about things starting to move a bit better. Our essence, our jing, they call it. We have more energy. We're not feeling so stuck or stagnant or hanging on to things. So physically, mentally and emotionally, we start to create a little bit more space. 10 more breaths here. Taking 3 more breaths, breathing in. Breathing out. And last breath in. And last breath out. If you add your hand behind you very slowly and softly, bring that back. As we just roll onto the belly and stay, and we come into a rebound. So just find, boom, boom. Just find anywhere where you're comfortable to lie down your belly. Shut down your eyes. The reason we come into a rebound like this, again, is so that the fascia and connective tissue, it has an opportunity to rebound and to reorganize itself. Stay as you are. Take 3 more breaths. Slowly start to make your way over to that other side. Just being gentle as you extend. I thought she went into some food. Being gentle as you extend that left arm out and slowly roll yourself over to the other side. She's such a cheeky dog. If there is any food around anywhere, she will find her way into it. So again, really be mindful that each side can be different. So never judge your body for what is going on for it, or think that it needs to be like what it was last week or yesterday. Just honour and inviting the practice for what it needs right now. You move into this state of just, it is what it is, And when we're okay with that, we take the pressure off. We lift that hand up, come into the half a bind if you like. We make it easier for ourselves rather than this constant battle of trying to fight it, Again, moving into that flow-like concept where we just accept it. We accept it if we're having a bit of a shitty day. We accept it if we're having a great day, but we don't attach to it. Because the moment we attach to the shitty days, or we attach to those really amazing, fabulous days, we then sort of create what's called a samskara in yoga, and we keep searching for it. So we keep searching for the really good days, and we try to chase it, and we're always chasing something, but we never find it again. Or we try to run and avoid or numb from the not so pleasant days. Like, I don't want to feel that again, that didn't feel that great. When really everything goes up and everything goes down, everything works in cycles. And that's just the way life is, and we understand that. Like what I said before, nothing is happening to us personally. Things happen in and around us. It's only our mind that can make a personal story of it. And then it just becomes a hell of a lot easier. And about 5 more long breaths here. Just yoga helps us create a little bit of space in the mind. A little bit of a pause, so to speak, in between the thoughts. And when we can pause in between the thoughts, we, of course, have the opportunity to interrupt the pattern that we know so well, either it's a pattern of judgment or self-sabotage or fear or worry or whatever it is, or criticism. And then we actually have a choice to choose again, to choose from a place of love and kindness. Because really, what other choice is there? And it feels so much better to do that. Take 1 more breath in. And an exhale, very, very, very slowly. Come back down. Again, we're going to rebound here, so slow. So take your time. Oh. My goodness, we did in our, I've been doing some CrossFit lately, which has been nice to move differently, but I think there was a lot of push-ups. I don't know how many, but there was a lot, so I'm definitely feeling this, and it's feeling so lovely on my shoulders. Just let yourself be heavy here. We're going to move into a little bit of an opening of your chest. And I really like to use a bolster in this pose. You don't have to. We're going to come into our melting heart pose. Now, heaps of different options here. So option number one in your melting heart is you can rest your forehead onto your bolster like that. If you would like to turn the bolster other way, it's going to be a bit easier or something like that. And you can actually rest your heart space, your chest onto the bolster. That's a great place to start if you're tight within the shoulders. The second option is keeping the hips high and allowing yourself to drop down to the ground, turning your cheek to the mat or your forehead. And if you are chasing a little bit more space and you have the mobility in your shoulders, you're welcome to, of course, rest the hands onto a bolster or blocks and drop yourself down. I'm going to stay here today because that feels really nice for me tonight. At any point, you can sink your hips back a little bit further if there's any altercations in the back. What we're trying to do here is bring that opening into the chest. Start to soften the backs of the shoulder, the backs of the shoulders and the upper back muscles. That's where I was going with that. The infraspinatus, the rhomboid, subscap. Try to give all those guys permission to let go. And you'll feel a beautiful stretch working into the pec minor, pec major. And you might even find a little bit into the serratus anterior. And just let yourself get really heavy here. The belly is soft. Just breathing in. And breathing out. There's a really nice story that I love in sort of Zen philosophy as such, and it's about this Chinese man who was walking back from his sort of visit out to the markets with his horses, and he has come back into town and one of his horses has run off on him, completely taken off, and he gets home and his neighbours are like, "That's very, very bad luck, sir, very bad luck." And he sort of turns to the neighbours and he says, "Maybe so, maybe not, we will see." And the next day he is sort of just harvesting in the garden, and his son comes back in from town, and not just with the horse that ran away, but with another 4 horses, and the neighbours are like, "Oh, sir, that's very, very good luck, and stay exactly as you are." And he says, "Maybe so, maybe not, we will see." You have 10 more breaths. The next day, as his son was breaking in the horses, he gets thrown off and he breaks his leg. And again, the neighbours are like, "Oh, it's such bad luck, sir." He says, "Maybe so, maybe not. We will see." And then the next day, the Chinese army comes to take all the younger sons and men and boys to war, and of course his son misses out. If we don't put too much expectation on an outcome, we never really feel like we failed. We can more so just accept it as is. This space of just pivoting sometimes and knowing that wherever we are is exactly where we need to be. Breathe in. And let go, breathe out. Now to come out of this, wherever you are, engage your belly. And very, very, very slowly, just bring one hand and then the other down to the ground. And I always like to round my spine for a moment here. And then I'll let you just turn over and just come onto your back. There's no rush. You can rest your head on the bolster. That can actually feel quite nice. And I'm just going to pause here in a rebound, and you might even bend your knees and knock them together. What can you feel? The last pose specifically for this practice for our shoulders and our chest is we're going to come into Sunbaker pose. So this can be done without a bolster. I'll show you the variation of the bolster first. We're going to wrap those elbows in and bring the shoulder above the elbow to start. And I like to bend the knees to start here. And what we're going to do is, oh goodness, I'm tired, is shift our bum forward, and then from that, extend the legs out long. So we're opening into the chest. You can also do this off the bolster. You don't need to be on the bolster, but I quite like this. So I do recommend finding a cushion or anything where you can prop yourself up. But it is super important to keep the elbows in, so no chicken wings. We are not after any pain here. I'm definitely at my edge, I'm not gonna lie. And again, there is the option, like we did before, of bringing the soles of the feet together and the knees out to the side. If you would like that option, if you're feeling like you need an opening into the hips, go there. And as I said, the further your bum is away from the bolster, the more intense this is going to be. So be gentle on your shoulders here and allow your chin to fall to your chest, and we come into Sunbaker pose. Elbows are in, feet are either extended long or in Supta Baddha Konasana, in a butterfly pose, or Baddha Konasana. And I want you to feel, which I'm sure you will, the target area is the front of the chest, pecs, moving right across almost the front of the delts as well. You'll feel a really delicious opening there. Soften the neck muscles, soften the belly. And then you want to kind of feel this sensation of the shoulder blades kind of drawing back and down. So try to disengage. We're not involving or engaging anything to do with the traps. The yin has very, very little muscle engagement so that we can get to those deeper tissues. This is a fantastic pose if you're at a desk all day, or if you have kids who use devices a lot. Of course, with any device or computer or whatever, we're practicing being in that tilted forward posture where our shoulders roll forward, we round the top of our spines, and we start to create that that forward fold in our bodies, which we don't need to do any earlier than nature intends. So this is such a great way to do the opposite of that. Everything in life requires an opposite. There is a duality to everything. We can't have the sunshine without the rain and the moon without the sun. We can't have, goodness without some bad, and vice versa. Everything is a balance. We can't do every single day of like sprints or like high intensity exercise without slowing the vehicle down and nurturing it. We break. Our minds are the same. Ten more breaths here. Try to really soften into these ones now. Remember, never any pain, back it off if you need to. If you're finding you have more space, you can go a tiny bit deeper. I'm actually noticing this a little bit into my biceps brachii as well. I've done the front of the bicep, really feeling that stretch there today. Take 3 more super long breaths here, so breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Just really bend one knee, then the other, and very, very gently wriggle your tush back so you take the pressure off your shoulders. And again, roll to your side, come into a fetal position here. Just pause. Notice how the shoulders may feel quite open, the chest may feel quite open here. And as we're here, we actually might just take one more shape today. We're going to take our Sphinx pose. So coming onto the belly, and a couple of different variations. Today you might want to roll the bolster under your chest and come into this variation, which I'm going to take tonight actually. You're more than welcome to bring it up a little further and come into your full seal pose if you like, with the arms extended. I might go there after a couple of breaths, but for now I'm just going to kind of melt myself over the bolster. You can also do this without the bolster by just coming down to the floor and place your forearms on the floor, but trying to keep the chest open today. So doing our best not to create any pain in that lumbar spine. If there is too tight, make 2 fists and rest your forehead on your fists. So finding the space that works for you. I feel quite open in my spine tonight, so I'm just going to come straight up into a seal. But if that doesn't float your boat, don't go there, don't force it. Remember, nothing in life is forced. Which is actually so funny in these times, you know, it really, we see all this resistance of trying to stop what's going on in the world, and you know, it's this big energy that's coming through of the virus as such, and everyone's trying to fight it. And I do wonder what would happen if we just let it be. You know, nature goes on without any force. We are in flow as humans without force and striving. When we try to stop something or we try to fight it, we create resistance. And it just becomes harder and harder to move through it, and it gets stuck. So I wonder if we were just to let it be, would it be a little easier to move through it? We are the same as humans. You know, if we try to fight something, if we're trying to fight to work in a relationship that's not necessarily working, or we're trying to strive for a position at work or a job and it's just not happening, or we find we're really pushing shit uphill, then maybe it's not for us. Maybe we need to surrender to the fact that something better is coming along the way, and trust that. Remember, again, nothing in nature is forced. Breathe in. And just take 5 more breaths here. Allow your heart space to remain open always. Michael Singer says in his book, The Untethered Soul, there is absolutely nothing in this world that is worth closing your heart over. Nothing. It's up to us how long we choose to hang on to something, how long we choose to resist it, how long we choose to fight it. Breathe in. Breathe out. And final breath in. And final breath out. Coming down now is straight into pentacle pose. Be gentle as you come out of this posture, always moving slow. You may like to leave your bolster there and rest your legs, however you get there is fine, over your bolster. Finding somewhere where you can be comfortable. Now coming into our pentacle pose. So I'm just going to place my hands just on my belly. You're welcome to let them go by your side. It's a little cold in here. I want you to take a big deep breath in. And a slow exhale out. And then completely surrender to this moment. Always remember that energy flows where our attention goes. That can be good or bad, of course. So whatever we spend our time putting our energy into, that's going to grow stronger. So if we start to spend time putting our energy into love or kindness or compassion for the self, we spend our time with a bit of self-care, looking after ourselves and not being so busy or people-pleasing, that's actually going to get stronger. But if we spend our time spending our energy in fear-based stories or judgment or comparison or self-sabotage, then unfortunately that's going to get stronger too. And I've been there. I've done that for 25 years or longer. And we all have that choice. So maybe take a breath in of where you would like to send your energy today. How would you like to feel? And exhale, just release and surrender. Now I invite you just to gently keep the bolster out from underneath you if you had one. And just turn to your side for a moment, wherever you are. And I just want you to take a moment to have a little bit of gratitude. Gratitude and appreciation for this very moment here, because in this moment, this is the only one there is, you know. It's super important to not spend our time worrying about what has been or comparing to things that have happened in the past or where we've been or how we looked or how the situation was. And it's also just as important to make sure that we don't take ourselves too far into the future. Because what happens is we miss out on this moment right here. When you feel ready, just gently bring yourself up to seated. So however you sit is fine. And just close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to take a breath in and just roll your shoulders and really feel the looseness that now is present in your physical body. And I want you to now breathe in and feel the looseness and space that is in the mind. And breathe out, just surrender to that. And then just finishing our practice, bringing the palms together. Taking a moment to honour the space of your heart, which is pure love and compassion. It never leaves you. So maybe go and share that with somebody today. The thumbs gently towards the mouth as you honour and pay attention to the words you speak, for they become the house you live in. And the thumbs to the third eye as you watch your thoughts and understand that your thoughts are not you. They do not define you. They don't tell your story. And you have every moment called a choice to change them. Namaste. Oh, thanks everyone. It's been a while since I've done a yin, and yeah, I really needed that today for my shoulders. I hope you enjoyed that. I'd love to know what you thought. Please feel free to comment below and let me know how you feel, and if there's any areas of your body that you would like to work with, then please comment below. Like and subscribe if you can. Like, click the subscribe button so that I can then deliver more of these to you guys, especially at the moment. I think a home practice is so important, not just for the body but also for the mind. Namaste everyone.